Hi Gemini, and welcome to your December 2023 horoscope. It's almost 2024. Wow. I feel like if anybody's excited about the new year, it's definitely you, Geminis. But perhaps you're not excited, or perhaps you need a bit more guidance. You want a little bit more comfort and security around what you can expect. I wanted to let you know I do have my books open. I have a couple of readings left for a year ahead reading. So we'll sit down, you and I, we'll take a look at your chart and share what you can expect for the year ahead. If that's something for you, then I'll leave the booking link down in the description box. The month has actually a lot of Venus aspects, and this can feel like a much needed break from November, because in November we had a lot of Mars aspects, which were quite powerful and very action filled. So try to use December to take a rest, to rejuvenate, to spend time nurturing your home, creating beautiful surroundings in your home, and to spend time with loved ones. We start the month off with a Venus transit, of course. On December 3rd, Venus in your 5th house is squaring Pluto in your 8th house. Venus has been in your 5th house for basically all of November, and you have been deriving comfort in November and security as well by spending time getting creative, by spending time getting in touch with your inner child and having fun. And this exploration that you've been doing in November with Venus in your 5th house may be revealing on December 3rd that you have some limiting beliefs in regards to vulnerability. Sometimes when we get in touch with these playful activities or inner child activities, we might unveil some stuff about vulnerability, about relying on others, and that might make us feel uncomfortable. Then Venus enters your 6th house, and as it does that, it trines Saturn. It trines Saturn on December 5th. So because Venus has entered a new house, from now on you might find that you no longer get comfort by being creative or playful. Now you get the sense of comfort and security and rejuvenation when you focus on your routine. You really need to put together a routine that makes you feel at ease. Because Venus is trining Saturn in your 10th house, as soon as it enters your 6th house, I recommend using some of your maturity, some of your amazing skills, to-do lists to help you make this shift in focus. On December 10th, Venus in your 6th house is opposing Jupiter in your 12th house. So in order to feel rejuvenated and comforted and secure, you are spending a lot of time on your routine, on establishing good habits. But there is a pull that you have towards just diving deep within, abandoning habits, abandoning practical steps, even maybe existing in the real world. There's a deep pull that you might be feeling into escaping. It could be escaping through TV, it could be escaping through sleeping too much. So this is only just for a little bit at the beginning of the month, but still try to find a balance between the two. As I always say, it's never that one is better than the other. On December 13th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius in your 7th house. The sun and the moon are trining the north node in your 11th house and squaring Neptune in your 10th house. A new moon represents a beginning, and for you, it's a new start in regards to your relationships. In order to help you make this a new beginning as smooth as possible, I recommend to step into the big network that you have around you and to really ground yourself towards the future plans that you have for yourself. You might be a bit disillusioned during this time when it comes to your career or the ways that others perceive you. That might not actually be in line with how they actually perceive you. So during this new moon, I would recommend not to overthink and get lost in terms of this area, because it could make this new beginning more difficult for you. And this disillusion could continue to get stronger and stronger up until December 17th. That is when the square between the Sun and Neptune becomes exact. On December 21st, Venus in your 6th house is opposing Uranus in your 12th house. With Uranus in your 12th house for the last couple of years, you've really been learning more about your inner world. There may have been some ups and downs. You may have really been figuring out like what is actually happening in this head of mine, which is amazing. What a beautiful transit to be going through. But because Venus is in your 6th house and you are finding a lot of comfort and security by grounding yourself in the real world, by taking care of your body, by getting enough sleep, by focusing on your nutrition, it has been pulling you a little bit away from this inner work that you've been doing. And it's really asking you to find the balance between the two. How can you continue to be grounded in the real world and at the same time do the inner work? Again, neither is better than the other. It's just about finding the balance. On the 22nd of December, the Sun, it enters your 8th house. So in order for you to continue to feel alive and energetic and full of vitality from this day onwards, you might need to start to become super vulnerable with those around you. Start to depend on them, whether emotionally, financially, spiritually. To really feel alive, you're going to need to get naked with somebody else, whether literally or figuratively. On December 24th, the Sun in your 8th house is sextiling Saturn in your 10th. So because the sextile is an easy aspect, I would recommend using the amazing maturity that you have. Everything about responsibilities. So use some of that hard work ethic that you have to help you with this new transition. On December 25th, Venus in your 6th house trines Neptune in your 10th house. I told you there was going to be a lot of Venus aspects this month. And actually this day, December 25th, is sort of like a beautiful reward if you have really allowed yourself to do the Venusian work. By stepping this month into your routine, into your habits, into the things that ground you in the here and now, that remind you that you have a body. On the 25th of December, it might be as if you're suddenly able to relax, to surrender, and some new insights start coming your way in regards to your career. It might be that all of a sudden you realize, like a flash of inspiration, where you see yourself going in your career, what you want to be known for by the rest of the world. So I would recommend on this day to just surrender. Don't use your mind or your logic. Return to yourself and see what sort of ideas are popping up from your intuition.
Tough luck, babe. Struck out when you had about 30 chances.
On the 27th of December, there's a full moon in Cancer. The Sun is in your 8th house, while the moon is in your 2nd house. The Sun is trining the North Node in your 11th house and squaring Neptune in your 10th house. Overall, this is a really positive full moon. A full moon reveals new information, and for you, that might specifically be new information about your self-confidence. By becoming vulnerable with another human being, you might really be becoming intimate with your self-esteem and any issues that you have around that. You might find that your emotions are asking you to step into your self-confidence, not to be vulnerable, to really show yourself as somebody strong and self-sufficient. But your ego might be stepping a little bit more into wanting to merge with somebody else, wanting to be vulnerable. So you might feel a bit torn during this full moon. Since the sun is trining Jupiter, I think earlier I said in the North Node, I meant Jupiter. Since the sun is trining Jupiter during this full moon, see if you can dig deep and pull out the things you've learned out of spending alone time, that you have really learned about your inner world, to help you achieve this balance. Finally, we close off the month on December 28th with both a Mars transit as well as a Venus transit. Mars in your 7th house is squaring Neptune in your 10th house, and Venus in your 6th house is sextiling Pluto in your 8th. So with Mars in your 7th house, you have spent a lot of effort, a lot of your time and energy in your relationships. However, since about December 25th, you might have slowly started feeling a more intuitive pull to zoom out a little bit and spend more of that energy towards your career. So there's a little bit of a tug of war between putting action towards your relationship versus surrendering and letting go and following your intuition in your career. And because you've been learning this month quite a bit about your daily habits and quite a bit about what it means to be vulnerable with another human being, then I recommend digging into some of these things you learned in order to help you find the balance between action and intuition. So Gemini, wow, I think December is going to be a really easygoing month for you. Sure, there are some aspects in more difficult houses, so your 6th, 8th, and 12th house. But I do feel that if you allow yourself to step into the things that are coming up, if you give yourself time to feel the emotions and go with the flow, then you're only going to step out stronger at the end. If you do want some extra support for 2024, you want to know personally what the year will bring for you, I recommend booking a year ahead reading with me. It's going to go way deeper than just considering the houses. We're going to look specifically at your personal aspects throughout the whole year. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this horoscope, and I hope to see you again soon.